Hey there everyone, welcome to the channel and welcome to the video. Recently, I made a video reacting to the atrocious One Piece video that Yellow Apocalypse had made. And while I was able to express a lot of my thoughts in that video, since then the comment section has taught me plenty. And while I am happy with most of the response, it came to my attention that there is a large portion of the people who actually believe some of the points in his video to be true. This is likely a side effect of just listening to a creator and not knowing much about the story prior. So I can see why one would be confused by the misinformation. But today, I want to go through the topic of sexism and representation in the One Piece story. Is there really a problem to be found? Let's find out together. Let's begin with the intro and get started, shall we? I want to start by looking at the story from the very beginning, to see if the supposed problem exists back there. So strap in, ladies and gentlemen, this video will be an interesting journey. I will be going one arc at a time, talking about the significant female characters within them and giving more emphasis on what their role is, and their importance, along with talking about them as characters, to see if sexism really exists and how it affected their roles in the story. The very first woman or female character we get to look at is Alvida. She is obviously a woman, not like you could even tell from how she behaves. But immediately we are made aware that this woman is powerful. She is the captain of her ship, which she rules like a tyrant, so I suppose power does corrupt all. Luffy does end up defeating her and rescuing Kobe from the ordeal. So far so good, we got female representation and she is in no way looked down upon. It's not looking too good for the sexism claims, is it? The next significant female character we run into actually becomes a mainstay in the story, cat burglar Nami. This is probably something people don't pay attention to, but the one who was showing Zoro kindness while he was locked up at the marine base was this young lady here. Anyway, back on track. Let's focus on Nami for a while, since the entirety of the next arc is basically centered around her, and Buggy, and the dog, and Sanji. But who cares about Buggy? She starts off as this shifty thieving girl, clearly focused on money rather than anything else, a trickster focused on gold, but with a heart of gold too. She did sell out Luffy, but then burnt her hands trying to save him. We are made aware that there is more to her character beyond what we see here. And while she joined the crew for selfish reasons, it's apparent that she grew to love the crew. She loved her role within it, and her role was never contested. She is the navigator and substitute captain. When Luffy is being a moron, she is the adult of the crew at this time, the one who calls the shots. Zoro is the unofficial right-hand man, but she is the obvious left hand at this point. They leave Orange Town with an agreement between the three. Zoro was fully committed to the crew at this point, but Nami made it clear she hates pirates. We don't quite know why yet, but we do know despite that hatred, she still trusted Luffy enough to join him for a short period of time, which would later turn into a full-time commitment. We end the arc on a happy note, with the fledgling crew off to find a bigger boat, where they meet another important female character. Actually, we are introduced to two important female characters here. Let's talk about the Syrup Village section. I mentioned here that there are two important women present here. Well, the first one is Kaya. The arc ends up gravitating around her this time, with the Straw Hats doing their best to help her from the pirates. And they do. Kaya is presented as this wonderful, kind and thoughtful girl that shows a lot of care for Usopp, quite literally listening to all his bullshit just because she likes talking to him. The stories keep her distracted and entertained. Some complexity does end up happening during this arc, but her importance is significant here. This is the girl Usopp wants to return to, and this is the girl who gives the Straw Hats their greatest gift yet, the Going Merry. The last important female character is Usopp's late mother. She raised him without Yasopp, all by herself. Despite her illness, she never took things out on him, cared for him immensely, and truly displayed what it means to be a strong female character. Not strong physically, but strong mentally. Because despite her loneliness, she remained strong for her son. Impressive representation right there. Let's now move on to the next arc. Well, not next arc, we are skipping Gaimon here. Sorry, Treasure Man, I mean you no harm, but you just aren't as relevant, or female for that matter. We are next introduced to Kuina, a female character we do not get to see a lot of, but we know enough for the memes to exist anyway. I will tell you which meme I am talking about in a moment. So, Kuina is this girl who lived in the same village that Zoro grew up in. She was the daughter of the dojo master and a swordswoman of the highest caliber here, being the strongest and most skilled, towering over even Zoro. It's actually been stated that over their many, and I do mean many duels, Zoro has not beaten her a single time, and this remains true even after her death, dying without ever losing a single duel in her life. Kuina is an important addition to the story because she adds a significance to how we view the female cast. By mentioning a problem based in sexism, as Kuina was practicing, eventually she got depressed and lost her will to fight, saying that she wouldn't be able to become the strongest sword user because as a woman she would naturally grow up to be weaker physically than Zoro. And this fact was devastating her and making her lose hope. But Zoro snapped her out of it by telling her that she is strong because of her skills. Just because she is a woman does not mean she is weak. And the proof is that Zoro has never been able to beat her a single time. So she should never stop training and stop making excuses entirely. She should be working towards her dreams and never let anything stop her. And Kuina accepted this. And still kicked Zoro's green behind though. I did mention that he has literally never beaten her. But now let's talk about the meme. But the meme I talked about comes from how Kuina died. She died by falling down the stairs, and the community saw the absurdity in a strong character dying from something as dumb as stairs to be hilariously tragic, and so her death was referred to as down the stairs. So if you ever heard that joke, this is what it's referring to. Before we move on, let me quickly talk about the significance of the Wado Ichimonji, the white blade that Zoro always carries with him. This sword belonged to Kuina and was given to Zoro by her father. This sword represents all her hopes and dreams, the aspirations she had to be the strongest sword user in the world, but now that she has passed, she can't do that anymore. And so her sword is handed to Zoro to carry her dreams with him, so that when he becomes the strongest swordsman, he will have Kuina with him, having supported him all the way. And this is the only blade that Zoro has never and won't ever replace, and is the sword that has never broken. A beautiful way to keep the memory of a character within the story. But now let's go ahead and skip the Baratie, since this is just Sanji territory, but it does do a great way of leading us into the next arc, which is centered entirely around Nami and her story. So I will start by mentioning that this arc is where the shifty parts of her character come into full swing. Since she steals the Going Merry and leaves the Straw Hats, effectively betraying them, but it's revealed soon enough that she did not have a choice in the matter, and this seems like a good part to move on to the next arc, Arlong Park. In Arlong Park, like I said, the full story, or should I say backstory, of Nami is revealed, showing us what shaped her into the person she became today, her obsession with money and stealing, and what her true motivations are. So here is a brief summary and retelling of her story. Nami was an orphan found in a war zone, along with her adoptive sister, Nojiko. They were both found by Bellemere, an ex-marine who was at this war, or conflict, and saw these two as babies, deciding to take them as her own daughters and effectively retiring from the Marines. Bellemere raised these two girls as well as she could, providing for them and caring for them by herself, assisted by some of the villagers who chipped in here and there since they also liked these two. This is where it's revealed that Nami has always loved the idea of drawing maps and navigating, and that she is very good at it. Her sister Nojiko was a bit more mature than her, more reserved and responsible. Nami did act out once, not realizing that her mother is doing all she can for them, but this was just a misunderstanding on her part. Nami runs away from home, but as this is happening, Arlong and his fisherman crew arrives and takes over the island, wrecking parts of it to spread fear. Arlong issues a fee for living. Failing to pay would lead to immediate execution, 100,000 berries for an adult, and 50,000 berries for a child. Slight detour here because I just realized, if you mix Nami's hair color and Nojiko's hair color, you should end up getting Bellemere's hair color. Pretty neat, huh? Most of the villagers are able to scrape by just barely and pay the fee, but Arlong soon discovered a home from a far-off chimney. This was Bellemere's house. When Arlong arrives here, Bellemere was alone, since Nami and Nojiko were hiding nearby, and Bellemere presents that she is only able to pay the 100,000 berries, but that is all the money she has, and so would only be able to pay for herself. Not really a problem since the fishman hadn't actually found Nami or Nojiko just yet, but that becomes a problem quickly, as the two are found out, and Bellemere is forced to make an easy decision, her life or her daughter's lives, and without hesitation she chooses them, leading to her untimely demise on the spot, never regretting choosing them a single time. Nami feels immense guilt after these events and joins Arlong, making the deal that she will draw maps for him in a quality he would benefit from, and in the meantime offers to buy back her village from him, the fee being 100 million berries, an amount far too great for her, a 10-year-old at the time, to pay. But Along says he will give her time to acquire it, gives her a room to draw her maps, and gives her freedom, but not before scarring her physically too. Because the mental scars just weren't enough, Nami gets branded with the Along Pirate's tattoo, a reminder of who she is now and who she belongs to, causing her to be hated by her town because they did not know why she joined with Along. Nojiko knew though, and did not hate her, but Nami felt like she did not belong, and so she would leave constantly, seeking treasure maps and stealing from pirates to pay her debt, saving all that money to reach the mark. This is why Nami is a thief. This is why Nami betrayed her friends, alienated herself from the people who loved her, why she hates pirates the most. They took everything from her at a young age. Nami feels dirty to an incredible degree, the tattoo being a constant reminder of the fact that she is no longer free and forced to do the unthinkable just to keep on going. And she did this for 8 whole years, just to finally collect the money and have it stolen, told to start all over again. She breaks down into tears, unable to go on any longer. Luffy and her friends support her through this time, showing her that she is not alone. Her sister and village fight back, supporting her as well, and the island is freed from oppression finally. The story presented here displayed immaculate female character writing, because Bellemere, Nojiko and Nami, a family of only women and strong ones as well, are able to show incredible growth, maturity, understanding, nurturing and willpower. They are powerful. Sure, they can't punch a sea king, but their strength in character towers over heights unseen so far. This is what One Piece shows us early on, women who are truly powerful and memorable, because women don't need to be monsters to be respected or loved or admired. They just need to be themselves, and it works wonderfully in this arc. Nami proceeds on to become the official navigator of the Straw Hat crew. With her dream of drawing maps of the entire world in mind, she sails the seas in search of completing this dream, and there is no doubt that she will succeed, because Nami is resilient and driven. And of course, if strength is all you care about, Nami does gradually get stronger and stronger, and does get featured in important fights too, but I will only mention them once we reach that section of that particular arc. We leave the island, heading towards the next arc, Loguetown. Here we don't get to see much female representation, since this arc is more of a gateway into the following arcs. We do get to meet Tashigi, a girl who looks eerily similar to Kuina, though with a different dream. She wants to collect all the high-grade swords in the world. It just so happens that Zoro is carrying one of them at this very moment, the Wado Ichimonji. Tashigi fights Zoro the moment she realized who he is, gets beaten rather easily despite her skills, which were nowhere near Zoro. And she proceeds to yell at Zoro, who wasn't being serious, saying that she lost because she is a woman, and this ties back to the conversation Zoro had with Kuina, which completely freaks him out realizing how similar they are. And Zoro kinda just leaves the situation immediately. Tashigi is then set on finding and capturing Zoro, to take that legendary sword away from him, because pirates should not have them, I guess, I don't remember. We also get a returning female character. Alvida returns with a makeover. Eating a devil fruit turned her into this slimmer form with more defined curves. She has now allied with Buggy the Clown as well, and remains in the story from this point forward, not as a mainstay character but as a background character, side character at best. But that pretty much concludes the female significance within the East Blue section. The crew goes into the Grand Line next, and lands at Reverse Mountain where they meet Laboon. And this is where they meet Miss Wednesday. More on her soon. Other than her, and Nami proving once again why she is significant to the crew with her navigational skills. That is all the female representation we get here. Miss Wednesday does join the crew here temporarily after being stranded in water. The Straw Hats make it to Whiskey Peak, but Miss Wednesday and her partner leave the crew to hide their involvement. This arc turns out to be centered around her actually, so let's keep going. If you ever thought One Piece only has dainty women so far, let me introduce you to Miss Monday, and god damn is she built like a truck. You want powerful women? Here's one that is physically a beast. Anyway, short arc summary. These kind people, in quotation marks, are an organized crime unit called Baroque Works. that try to get the Straw Hats drunk and capture them, but with Zoro being an established drunk, the alcohol doesn't really knock him out, and he overhears all their plans, proceeding to beat them all up and saving the crew. It's established here that Miss Wednesday is actually Princess Nefertari Vivi from Alabasta, and the leader was actually a royal guard. Mr. Five arrives with Miss Valentine, and they both try to send Vivi to an early grave. They are unsuccessful, as Zoro and Luffy, during their friendly squabble, casually defeat them and go back to fighting each other. And Nami, who, motivated by the objective of receiving a massive payday for rescuing a princess, tells them to cut the crap and save the girl. And they do, granting Vivi safety and making her an honorary Straw Hat. The next arc is built around Vivi, since she is the princess of Alabasta. It turns out that she can't really guarantee the payment as her country is in turmoil at the moment, and it's all caused by Baroque works. She was trying to solve the problem herself, but, well, she did not succeed evidently. Though with the help of the Straw Hats, she is reinvigorated and heads back home to save her country. On the journey to Alabasta, we are introduced to Miss All Goddamn Sunday. Quick side note here. Am I the only one who missed this cowgirl look for Robin? There was something... Yeah, no, back to the video. Detour over. Miss All Sunday does the classic villainous thing here, antagonizing the crew and being a very commanding presence. Mysterious too. But I will explain her story later on. I should mention that despite being a villain, here anyway, she does attempt to help them in getting to Alabasta. Doesn't go well, but she tried anyway. The next arc is actually Little Garden, and I am skipping it entirely, since it doesn't have any significant female presence in it. Well, there are female characters of course, but I have already talked about Nami, and I'm about to talk about Vivi, and Robin only makes a short cameo. The rest just aren't as important. But when leaving Little Garden, Nami falls ill, and so the Straw Hats can't exactly proceed on their journey without her. She is their navigator after all, and their friend, and so the Straw Hats and Vivi head off to Drum Island. This arc doesn't possess much of a female presence since Nami is sick. Vivi does appear a lot in the arc, but it's mostly centered around Chopper. And we do get to see Dr. Kureha, a really skilled practitioner of medicine, and I guess she was so talented that the island ended up calling her a witch. She does look like one, but she's a kind-hearted woman. Old, very, very unnaturally old, and still able to say this damn healthy. Dr. Kureha is essentially a maternal and guardian figure for Chopper, helping him out and protecting him from the world around him. Chopper's story is a sad one, but he isn't female, so we are skipping that. But since Nami has been cured, and no female-related relevant events happen here, we are skipping the rest of this arc. Finally, heading towards the desert kingdom of Alabasta. Right, before we talk about anything else, Mr. 2. How do we classify Mr. Bon Clay? The absolute GOAT. Do I put him on the list or skip him? I don't care, he gets an honorary mention regardless. Bon Clay is by far one of the best and most genuine characters in One Piece. His significance, going from a background character to a beloved side character, is astonishing. We will always respect you, Bon Clay. Now go, rule your kingdom and be free. Anyway, let's skip all the boring details. So the main conflict in Alabasta is caused by Crocodile, who is intending on destabilizing the country and taking over as the leader. For what reason? Well, because he wants to. And because there is an ancient weapon here. How does Vivi fit into all this? She is the princess and the childhood friend of the leader of the rebellion. So she is a connection that could possibly save the country, and Crocodile just doesn't like that. And so Vivi has to struggle and fight to take back her country. Through this entire ordeal, Vivi does a lot of growth. And some of it comes from Luffy, who helps her realize that she doesn't need to sacrifice her own life to win here. She can trust her friends and everyone to help her succeed. I think the point of Vivi's journey in this arc and the story so far was to shed that naive nature she had. As a sheltered princess, to explore the world, learn how things truly work, what sacrifices need to be done in order to ensure success, and what personal accountability is and does to a person. Vivi accomplishes this in this arc, risking her life to save her country, and learning to lean on others, trust others, be a leader as well, make the hard choices, one of which ends up being to leave the Straw Hats. But only publicly. Internally and to her friends, Vivi is still one of them. But she has grown enough to realize that, even though she seeks adventure, her country, her people come first. And that character arc is perfect for Vivi, from a naive, spoiled princess to a mature and gifted leader. I mentioned I would bring up when Nami's power levels increase, so here, let me cover this part for her. Nami ends up fighting Miss Doublefinger, that better not be code for something. And here Nami ends up figuring out all about how the climate act actually works and wins this fight, making Nami quite the strong contender with the power to influence the weather. Also, quickly want to bring up Tashigi's contribution in this arc. She is present in this arc with Smoker, and despite both their aversion to pirates, they end up realizing who the true villains are. Pirates, but not the Straw Hats, Crocodile. And with that, she becomes the reason Luffy finds Crocodile for the final showdown. From here, let's explore the character of Nico Robin further. It's her turn to get a true character summary, but not the complete summary since that will be later explained after Annie's lobby, and only then will I fully cover her character. What we do know so far is that Nico Robin has an extremely high bounty, and this bounty was given to her when she was only 8 years old, an absurd number for a child to have. The Marines framed this as her being a devil child and destroying something like 6 Marine battleships back then. But Crocodile seems to know exactly where the Marines want her. She has the unique ability to read poneglyphs, making her one of a kind in the world, since the language on a poneglyph is ancient, and anyone who researches this gets erased from history. Hence the high bounty. The Marines want her gone, fast. But unfortunately, Crocodile has her and is using her to read the poneglyph in Alabasta, which has information pertaining to the location of one of the ancient weapons. Robin lies to Crocodile here, telling him it's not here, and by not here I mean the ancient weapon. But it's actually in Alabasta, she just does not want to reveal that information to him. Crocodile ends up turning on Nico Robin, but Luffy of course saves her from the danger. And after this she kinda just vanishes only to later appear on the Going Merry, seemingly attached to Luffy. It's established very early that she has taken a liking to Luffy, not romantically of course, but I would wager it's because of his free spirit and objective honesty. Robin hasn't had anyone be truly honest or straightforward with her the way Luffy is, in a pure-hearted manner. And as someone who has had to run and mistrust and keep watching her own back with everyone, with Luffy and the crew, she can finally relax and be herself, which leads to her staying with the crew now that Baroque Works has been dismantled fully. Robin adds a dynamic to the crew that did not exist before, a calm and mature attitude. She just likes to enjoy her time on the ship, enjoy the bits of life most people would not appreciate, a drink on the ship while reading, leisurely exploring islands with her new friends, who, yes, do all become her friends and family going forward. But what are Robin's motivations? What are her goals in life? Nico Robin is an archaeologist with a true passion in world history. Robin wants to learn what happened in the Void Century, to understand the lost history of the world, and to do this, she needs to read the poneglyphs. It just so happens that the poneglyphs are really hard to find, and with the Straw Hats she will get to learn the true history while traveling alongside them. Oh, and by the way, the full definitive history of the world can be found where the One Piece is. So if she helps Luffy find the One Piece, she can find what she is looking for too along the way, and at the destination. But this is just the surface of Nico Robin as a character. I haven't even begun with her conflict as a child yet, and won't yet because we need to keep moving. The next arc we go to is Skypiea, which I will not be talking about much because it's not too feminine centered. It does feature a lot, and I do mean a lot, of female representation, like how Nami is the main reason that Eneru gets his bell rang, and how Robin comes in absolute clutch by finding the ancient writing, deciphering it, which leads her to the note left on the giant bell by Gold Roger, which allows her to make the connection between the real poneglyphs. You need to connect all of them in order to piece together the actual intended meaning. But don't confuse real poneglyphs with the road poneglyphs. Real poneglyphs contain history, instructions, and ancient text. Road poneglyphs are read, and there are only 4 of them. If you read all 4 and plot them on a map, they will lead you towards Laugh-Tale, or Raftel, whichever you want to call it, the One Piece basically. And Robin is significant because only she can read these things. For now anyway. There is one more person who can, but we won't be covering her just yet. Anyway, moving on to the next arc, Long Ring Longland, which we are skipping entirely. There just isn't much to talk about. But we will be talking about this scene here with Robin and Aokiji, since this ties back to her past. Aokiji does attempt, sort of, to capture Robin and Luffy, but ends up leaving because he is lazy, and because he never wanted to catch Robin anyway. Finally at Water 7, which leads us to Annie's lobby. Now, I won't be going too deep into the summary of the story here, but since this arc is focused around Robin, I will now give you her entire backstory along with her role within this arc and the next. Nico Robin was born on Ohara, an island populated by regular people, and also contained a giant tree which was being used to store research and information that was collected by the scholars living there. Robin's mother left Robin at a very young age to live with relatives, and those relatives did not like Robin at all, mistreating her and treating her like a servant. She went on to eat a devil fruit at a certain point in her childhood, giving her access to the flower fruit abilities, which allows her to manifest limbs or her own body parts like flowers wherever she can see. Doesn't exactly help her make friends, but Robin has always been interested in archaeology and studied hard to join the kind scholars at the tree as one of them, because that was the only way they would ever let her participate. And she later accomplished this, becoming so good in fact that she can read poneglyphs. A very rare trait. She one day found a giant at the beach, Jaguar di Sol, who became her one and only true friend. This did not last long, unfortunately, as nothing in her life would go well. When she turned 8 years old, her mother would return into her life, and as swiftly as she returned, she died, along with the scholars, because the world government figured out what they were doing and decided to issue a buster call, an attack meant to burn an entire island to the ground, killing all inhabitants. Some did escape in ships, but Akainu ensured that those ships were sunk. No one could leave here alive. Jaguar di Sol fared no better. Frozen solid by none other than Aokiji. The only one who survived the massacre was Nico Robin. Having lost absolutely everything in a single day, the government would not let this slide though, branding her as the Devil Child and giving her a gigantic bounty. This bounty ruined any chances Robin had of happiness. Whenever she found people who took her in, they would sell her out to the Marines for money, forcing her to run away. Criminals and pirates were no better, treating her like dirt. It's not directly said or shown what Robin went through, but it is implied that she did whatever it took to survive. Take that how you will, eventually ending up working for Crocodile. For as good as that was, he backstabbed her, quite literally. So when she saw how earnest Luffy was, who wanted nothing from her and didn't care who she was or her past, she felt drawn and stayed with him. This going south in Water 7, where CP9, a covert government organization, recognized her and took her in. Robin left the crew and joined them, out of fear that if she dared resist, her new friends would be killed. She would act cold and detached for their sake, helping the government with their schemes, despite knowing it's wrong, whatever it takes to protect her new family, her life for theirs. It seemed justified to her, which all led up to this scene in Annie's lobby, where Robin was being led to be executed, and Luffy finally gets through to her, asking her to truly express what she wanted, to, for once in her life, state what she desires, and she says it out loud. She wants to live, and that was a major breakthrough for her character, as we see Robin breaking down in tears asking for help for the first time. She no longer had to be so strong, she can rely on her crew, and what a moment it was. Her crew did everything it took to save her and succeeded, with Robin even getting her revenge on Spandam, breaking his bones slowly, which is exactly what he deserved after torturing her so much. Robin's journey up to this point was one of suffering, misery, despair and hopelessness, and she managed to stick it together since she was 8 years old. Up until now, at 24, she had gone through hell and pulled herself out of it. Her strength of character, physical strength and mastery over her craft is truly admirable. Another powerful woman who ticks many boxes as well. And when things got too much, when all hope was lost, she trusted her friends to save her. A common theme you will find in One Piece is friendship, strength in numbers, not in solitude. By trusting the ones closest to you, you can build something truly wonderful. Nami, Robin, Vivi, and many other characters learn this. Being a singular strong unit is impressive, but it doesn't hurt to have people to fall back on when you can't handle things. That is strength in character. Now let's talk about Nami again, because in this arc, she ends up fighting Khalifa, a prominent member of CP9, and she wins this fight, displaying her growth in power through this series, and her growing mastery of her unique fighting style with the Climate Act. Let's conclude this section and enter Thriller Bark, This arc doesn't have much female representation to speak of, but it does have some twisted events that I'm just not going to be directly mentioning, like this scene with Nami, you know which one, which ends up with her being saved temporarily, and later having to fight this creep Absalom and winning this bout, saving her friend Lola in the attempt. We also got introduced to Perona, the ghost girl, who ends up being so strong she straight up solos Luffy, Zoro, Sanji and everyone, all except for Usopp, because her power simply didn't work on him in the end. You can't really depress someone who is already depressed, unfortunately. She ends up being sent off the island by Kuma. I don't have to tell you where to just yet, and so I won't. Other than these two, we get some good moments with Robin and Sindri too, but that's all the significant female presence we really get in this arc. Moving on to the next arc, Sabaody Archipelago. And this arc first centers around Kami, a kind mermaid lady that ends up getting kidnapped and sold off as, people merchandise. Let's leave it at that. I'm going to call it people merchandise. The events of the story follow that goal until she is found and freed, with Luffy making a dumbass decision that honestly, most of us would have made the exact same one. This leads to a quick change of plans and they have to then leave quickly. With Kami free and the Marines scrambling to capture the worst generation, this seems like a good place to introduce you to one of them. Jewelry Bonnie, whose story is one of the most heartbreaking ones within the One Piece story. But I can't tell you that story until we reach it. Oh, and Shaki too. She is Dark King Rayleigh's wife and former queen of Amazon Lily. No other prominent female characters are present here. None that I care to remember anyway. The Straw Hats end up losing here, badly, with each one getting sent to a different location, and our focus is kept on Luffy for the remainder of the few arcs. Luffy gets sent to Amazon Lily, an island full of only women. This is literally an entire society ruled by only women, and with a female queen. So Luffy is automatically imprisoned and trialed. But this leads us to the next major female character, Boa Hancock, the queen of Amazon Lily, well, the current one anyway, user of the love fruit, which basically just makes every living being fall for her immediately. You heard that right, every living being, even animals. Boa essentially uses her beauty to get whatever she wants, but there is a reason for that. Let's begin with her backstory. Boa was born on Amazon Lily, with her two sisters, Marigold and Sandersonia. When she was around 12, I believe, she and her sisters were captured by the Celestial Dragons, becoming human merchandise for them. And the things done to them are only implied but never shown, thank goodness, and I will not be repeating them here. What we do know for sure is, the devil fruit Boa and her sisters have were given to them by the Celestial Dragons as a sick sense of enjoyment, just to see what would happen to them. And that is how Boa got her love fruit. They were also branded with the hoof of the Celestial Dragons on their backs. They were rescued at a certain point by Fisher Tiger, to which Boa returned home and eventually became the queen of Amazon Lily. She never, ever let anyone see her back ever again. Hiding the hoof of the Celestial Dragons, this mark represented the worst time in her life, a truly devastating memory to behold, and her arrogant act is a personality trait she developed from being oppressed for so long. She refuses to ever let anyone look down on her ever again, so she looks down on them instead, having no troubles with treating them like dirt, whatever it takes to never be in that fearful state ever again. I should also explain that the love fruit did not make her attractive. She was attractive already. The fruit only made people's perception of her beauty into loyal, amplified attraction. So if you have none towards her, you can resist the effects completely, like Luffy, who has zero attraction towards her in the slightest, and thus her powers have no effect on him. When Luffy was fighting Boa's sisters, and one of their outfits was able to fall, about to reveal the mark, Luffy jumped on her back and covered it so no one would ever see. This gesture showed them that he was a good person at heart, and meant them no harm. This prompts Boa Hancock to finally let her guard down and show her own mark to Luffy. And Luffy doesn't give a damn, completely shatters her fears, all her insecurities about being looked down upon, being judged, seen as different or tainted. Yeah, Luffy doesn't care about any of that. She's just a girl who was mean to him, that's all. And that moment of acceptance from this guy who has no interest for her beauty, her past, her unfortunate circumstances, completely immune to all the barriers she put up, and she just falls head over heels for him on the spot because Luffy just sees her as a person. That is all she's ever wanted from anyone. And I do mean fall for him, as in completely. She's drooling for this man. Which, if you take that as women being represented badly, then you have never made a woman happy before, clearly. Watch them read a romance novel and see their eyes light up with joy. This is the expression you see on Boa here. The summation of her character arc. She is finally accepted for who she is. Boa Hancock goes on to help Luffy wholeheartedly from this point onwards, sneaking him into Impel Down and being his support during the war on Marineford, even helping on later as Luffy was taken back to Amazon Lily when he was injured at the war. Notable female characters to speak of so far are Boa Sandersonia, Boa Marigold, and this old bat. Would Ivankov count here? He can turn into a woman or a man at will, and is the main reason Luffy survives his fight with Magellan. Bon Clay too. He helps ensure that Luffy escaped Impel Down. I don't know, to be honest, I never know how to classify these two. But if I am correct, that should cover all the significant female presence in the pre-time skip era of One Piece. I may have missed certain events. Going back through the story took literal hours and days of writing just to get these details as right as possible, so I do apologize for any misinformation. I will only be covering pre-time skip here. I do not want to make this video longer than it already is. But if you do want the post-time skip version, get this video to, I guess, 500 likes and I will work on that video for you all. I want to say some final words before the video ends, to address you, the viewer, directly, share my thoughts with you from what I learned writing this script. In One Piece, sexism doesn't just not exist, but it is showcased just so that it can be crushed out of existence. Every single time that there is an instance of anything that isn't fair, the story lets you know it's not fair and sets up its correction post-haste. Kuina worrying about being a woman would make her weaker is immediately offset by Zoro reassuring her. Vivi losing hope is offset by her friends. When Robin is at her worst, she has people to catch her and protect her. And this pattern continues. By presenting us with a variety of female characters in different situations, One Piece helps us understand that in order for a woman to be powerful, she doesn't need to be an earth-shattering phenomenon. She can be feminine and maintain her strong presence. Look at Bellamere, a powerful woman who died for her children. Would you say there was sexism there? The point is, I think people have gotten to the sad point of just aiming fingers at things and screaming a not so well thought out insult or a claim they cannot even back up. But you know what's most ironic? People who claim One Piece is sexist because the women don't often face main villains are in of themselves being sexist by implying that this is what women should be good for. Power. Power is not what makes a character strong. It's their character, their spirit, their motivations, their drive that fully puts them in that spot. But that will be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to support the channel and the content, then make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And again, if you want to see the post-time skip version of this video, then please get this video to 500 likes. Have a great day and I will see you in the next one. Peace, my friend.